Hi there guys, today is a revision video on 1.3 classification of businesses, and this relates to the Pearson IGCSE Business Studies course. Okay, so in this revision PowerPoint we'll be looking at what the three market sectors are and how we can classify businesses into those, and also maybe analysing some of the impacts that different market sectors have on the economy. So the first one that you need to know about is called the primary sector, and the word primary means first. Okay, so with that in mind, it is the first stage of production, okay, the extraction of raw materials. And you've got three pictures on the screen that kind of illustrate that really well. Okay, so could be, for example, fishing, okay, in the production of things like seafood, okay. Might also be farming as well, okay, the extraction of raw materials such as wheat, okay, which is used in the production of things like cereals, breads and things like that, okay, and also it might be things like mining, okay, in that third picture there. So businesses that extracts things like metals and oil from the earth. Okay, but the key thing with the primary sector, it is the first stage of production, and it relates to extracting raw materials from the earth. The primary sector consists of things like fishing, farming, forestry, mining and mineral extraction, things like coal and maybe oil. Okay, we know how essential these are to things like transportation. The things that come from these primary sectors are known as raw materials. So you might have heard your business teacher use that term before, raw materials, okay? Second sector you need to know about is the secondary sector, and this refers to the second stage of production, okay, where businesses have obtained all of those raw materials and they're now going to put them together as manufactured goods, okay? So on the screen here, we see an example of a car being produced, okay, and the secondary sector, they've obtained all the raw materials they need, such as rubber, steel, plastics, things like that, okay, but what the secondary sector does is it puts those raw materials together as finished goods. It manufactures these goods that are ready now to be sold, okay. So raw materials such as iron, oil, woods are used to produce manufactured goods, okay, whether that's iPhones or baked beans. The third sector that you need to know is called the tertiary sector, and these are all of the activities and all of the businesses in an economy that offer services, okay. It's often referred to as the service sector. So you see some pictures there on the screen, okay, where you've got a cinema there. We know that's a service because it's something that you go and experience rather than take away a tangible goods, okay. It might also be like a flight around the world, okay. Again, that's a service because you're not actually taking away physical tangible goods. It might also be staying in a hotel. So tertiary sector includes things like retailing, okay, and retailing is shops on the high street, shops in shopping mall, banking, insurance, travel, entertainment, hotels and transports, okay. In the UK, the tertiary sector is probably the largest sector within the markets, okay. It's because over the last 100 to 150 years we've kind of moved away from prioritizing and focusing on primary and secondary sectors, and now our biggest sector is providing services to UK people, okay, be that banking or maybe things like hotels and entertainment. Here are some of the factors that influence the size of the market sector. So each country is going to have a different size in terms of its market sectors. Some might have a very high percentage of its workers working in the primary sector. Some countries may have a very big and large and growing secondary sector where they manufacture a lot of goods, whereas other countries such as the UK may have a much bigger tertiary sector than maybe another country around the world. But some of the factors that influence the size of the market sector could be, for example, the skills and qualifications of the workforce. Okay, generally, the higher the skill of the workforce, the more likely they are to work in the secondary and tertiary industries. Okay, for example, you might need skilled engineers to manufacture things like cars and airplanes in the secondary sector. You may need people with qualifications, university degrees, to be able to sell things like bank products and insurance. Might also relate to how many multinationals are within that country. Okay, so for example, Starbucks, okay, McDonald's, okay, these kind of companies. The more multinationals within that country, the more likely that country is to, have a larger tertiary sector. Could also relate to the availability of natural resources there. Okay, so countries that are very rich in natural resources, such as timber, wheat, fertile farming lands, okay, they might have a larger primary sector than a country that has maybe less natural resources. Okay, we think about maybe Saudi Arabia. Okay, they have a huge amount of oil and minerals within their country, and that is one of the reasons why, even though Saudi Arabia is an incredibly developed country, they have quite a large primary market sector. Okay, question time. So these are 3 questions that you might get in a IGCSE exam. Explain one factor that may influence the size of the tertiary sector within an economy. Explain one factor that may influence the growth of the secondary sector within a country. And the third question, outline one primary industry based in Thailand. Okay, might have to do a bit of research for that. Okay, but you might want to pause the video now, give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to go and answer those, and then I'm going to look through some model answers. Okay, so that first question there, explain one factor that may influence the size of the tertiary sector within a country. Okay, well, I'm going to refer to the level of disposable income here. Okay, so for example, if people generally have higher levels of disposable income, there's going to be more demand for services such as cinema, tourism and entertainment. Okay, think about the UK, for example. Okay, generally we've got quite high levels of disposable income, therefore we like to go to the cinema, we like to go to theme parks. Okay, therefore the tertiary sector is likely to be larger, as multinationals will be attracted to that market. Okay, so point is, greater levels of disposable income, more demand for services, therefore the tertiary sector is likely to be larger because you're going to see multinationals attracted to that market. Okay, for example, McDonald's, Starbucks, could also be cinemas as well. Okay. Second question, explain one factor that may influence the growth of the secondary sector within a country. Here I'm going to mention the skills and qualifications of the workforce. Okay, this is because there may be a high number of university graduates skilled in things like engineering. Therefore, international companies may want to base their factories within these countries. Okay, so Southeast Asia is a great example of this. Okay, you're seeing more and more people with university qualifications in things like engineering. Therefore, a lot of international car companies, for example, may want to base their factories within those countries. Okay. Last one's a 2 marker, so all we need here is a point and then one connective. So outline one primary industry based in Thailand. Okay, one primary industry based in Thailand is agriculture. Okay, agriculture meaning farming. This is because Thailand is one of the largest exporters of rice in the world. Okay, so my point is, okay, my one industry that I'm outlining is agriculture, and then I'm explaining that, okay, because I'm saying that actually Thailand is one of the largest exporters of rice in the world. Let's have a look at a case study now. Okay, UK. Okay, so we're going to apply the UK to all 3 of the market sectors. So the UK used to have a very large and wealthy primary sector. but we are running out of natural resources. Okay, our coal and our fish stocks are almost depleted. Okay, so we're seeing less people want to become miners and less people want to become fishermen. So we're seeing the primary sector shrink. Okay, also we cannot compete against cheap foreign imports, so we might be seeing also less farmers, unfortunately. It's getting smaller. Okay, secondary sector in the UK is getting smaller as well. Okay, we can't compete against foreign imported made goods, okay, because countries can make goods a lot cheaper than we can. Okay, and we're facing a process of de-industrialization as we're becoming a less industrial nation and we move towards knowledge work, such as things like web design and maybe also money management. So we think about London. London is one of the financial capitals of the world, okay, and we're seeing more people move from the primary sector and the secondary sector into more knowledge-based work, providing services. The tertiary sector in the UK is getting bigger. Okay, people are richer than ever before, so more money is being spent on things like entertainment and also financial services as well. Okay, people have more free time, and they want to go and enjoy themselves, go to theme parks, go to cinemas, maybe go out for food. Okay, therefore, people working in the tertiary sector is increasing, and we're also starting to spend a lot more money in the tertiary sector too. So the wages are getting higher as well. So that was a case study about the UK and how the free market sectors relate to the UK. I hope that revision video has helped. Please click the like, and if you could subscribe, that would be great.